right, we locked in right now. It's the Wheel1 podcast. Your boy Master Tice got a special guest in the cut right here. You know what I'm saying? It's my boy Devante. We go way back. You know what I'm saying? He had to pull up on me. I really appreciate that. You know? And, you know, fam, we're just going to do this how we always do this on the pod. You know what I'm saying? We're going to jump right into it, you know? We talk about, like, where you introduce yourself to the people, number one.
All right. This is actually the question that I hate the most in interviews. Where it's like, all right, tell us something about yourself. I don't even know where I could start. I need some more.
Well, you know, we like to start from the beginning, like, you know, as far as like you go. You know, tell us a little bit about, like, you know, family life, siblings, you know, all that type of shit. Like, you know, like upbringing, you know, just like where you come from, all that. Like,
all right, the first thing that pops into my head. So, I was born in West End. I've been here my whole life, Jane Shepherd. But the first thing that pops into my head when you talk about siblings is when I was 6. So I used to hate my brother when I was like when he
older
was
brother,
born,
little brother. Okay.
So he's 4 years younger than me, and like I always used to say, and my mom always reminds me too, like I used to say, you used to ruin my life. Because, you know, you're an only child, and then your brother comes, and, like, the attention's kind of away from you.
You're like, yo, who the fuck is this little kid?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yo, get him out of here. And then I remember it so vividly, too. So I was 6 years old. I had a nightmare. It was kind of like a Jurassic Park thing. And so I think I was driving at 6 years old, and then my brother was in the back. And then, I don't even know, he saw a dinosaur, and he grabbed the wheel, and he crashed. And then, like, I woke up and I was bawling, bro. I was so sad. And then after that, like, yo, I always held up for my brother.
You're like, that's a nightmare at 6 years old when I was like, nah, cuz I gotta love broski, bro. I can't be doing him like this.
And ever since that, like, you know, like, brothers who just used to fight all the time, but, like, it was always love.
Yeah, of course.
It drove my mom crazy, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, that's it.
So, like, you know, like, let's talk a little bit about because, you know, you talk about a little bit of the brotherly bond now. And, like, I'm the youngest now,
right?
And I want to know, like, the aspect that's being, like, the oldest. Like, how is that, like, you know, being just the oldest and, like, you know, you got the younger siblings in general.
Well, especially being from, like, where we're at, you know, you're kind of like the man of the house. Like, if your pops isn't there, so that was kind of like. My role in the house is basically, it wasn't even being a big brother, it was like being a dad to my little bro, even though we're 4 years apart. And the man, like, he looks older than me right now. He's size and everything. But, you know, it's like, it is what it is. Pops wasn't around, like, really in the early parts. Like, we're all good now and shit, but, you know, just, like, I had to be the dad to my bro, like, way back then, and put a lot of responsibility on me and shit, right? But, you know, it is what it is.
So how do you feel like that helped, like, that made you, like, with, like, get it when you were, like, you feel like that made you, like, grow up, like, at an early age?
100%, bro. Like, I feel like we all kind of talk about this, but our childhoods kind of felt like it was cut short. You know, like, we didn't get the time that we needed to just be kids. So, like, at a certain point, like, I remember, so I have a little sister, too. It was grade 5, and, same thing, yo. I was crying because, like, I didn't feel like I was a good big brother to her because I didn't see her often, and we didn't, like, talk often and stuff. She's 8 years younger than me, and so it was like one of those moments where, like, it puts a lot of pressure on you to be, like, a man when you're a youth still, you know. Like, so it's always been kind of difficult. Like, I've handled it well, but it's like it takes a toll on you that you don't even know, you know. It's just like one of those.
Because I like, you know, it's a question I always like to ask, just because, like, with me personally, like, you know, with me and my bros, like, I'm the youngest, you know. Yeah. So, like, fucking everything that happens with us, it's like I kind of, like, it was like almost protected and sheltered in a sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like it's interesting to see the other side of it.
Yeah, I definitely like me and my bro never really spoke about, like, how our childhoods were, but I always felt like I tried to protect him from, like, whatever was going on, like, whatever was going on with me or my mom or whatever, just trying to, like, make sure that he still has that childhood that maybe I didn't have as much of, you know?
Okay. So, like, another question I want to ask here And it's just like, as you were growing up in that time frame, like, what were just some of the hobbies that you had that kind of like took your mind off of, like, you know, some of the other responsibilities that you had growing up?
I gotta give credit to my mom and my grandma. Like, they made sure from the jump I was in the sports. So baseball was my first love. Love baseball.
Yeah, I love baseball too. Yeah. Funny enough, I don't know why niggas don't love baseball more. Personally,
yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of boring if you're just sitting and watching it. But
I know what you mean, because I'm the same way. I'm like, yo, shit, dog. Like, I love the game, but sometimes, like, if it's a pitcher's duel, like, you know, not everyone's gonna love that.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it's kind of like, you just gotta get used to, I guess, like, the different pace of it, right? It's not like ball or soccer where there's always something going on. You know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I was into baseball from really young, soccer, all that stuff, swimming, and then just kind of like chose my own path as I got older and older. But I say, like, sports for sure is the one thing that's been constant in my life from young that's helped me out, you know?
So like, because you know me, I'm a sportsman too. Yeah. So like, what were some of like the lessons you feel like sports has taught you that you you've kept throughout life? Because I felt like for me, it taught me a lot, and I like kind of just put it into like everything else I do into life.
Yeah. Honestly, like, being at Emory was probably the biggest, like, the most amount of lessons that I learned during sports. Like, there were a lot of times where I was, whatever, like, was captain of baseball, was captain of the soccer team, and just, like, I wasn't ready at those moments to be a leader, but it kind of, like, whatever failures that we had, it kind of forced into me to, like, have some leadership skills and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Whereas, like, before, like, I'm a pretty shy person, so I can never put myself out there like that, but in those positions, you kind of have to, so those are some things that I learned for sure.
See, because, like, for me, I always think about it, because I think about myself, like, I kind of always, like, wanted that. Like, I was, like, a weirdly, like, it's like...
I never wanted that shit, bro. Never.
I was, like, this natural born leader type shit, bro. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm trying to be, like... Put me at the front of the line. I'm leading the troops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all like, we would or die on me. Like,
See, I was never like that. I was always like, yo, someone else wanted to leave. Like, yo, go ahead. But it was always on me.
Like, that's the crazy thing, because like I always like to see the perspective on things. It's like, it's true. Some people are just that's personality wise, they're just not like that, because like, especially when you're a leader of like a team sport, I feel what comes a lot with it is like, you have to be an open personality, because you have to know everybody, because you got to know how everybody works to know how to motivate them. Because like me, sometimes there's some guys that when I be like when I was like the captain of squads, where I like, I just want to scream and be like, yo, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know? But then it's like, I can't do that to that guy, because if I do that to that guy, he might shell in more. So I might got to be like, yo, bro, you know you got this, bro. Like, come on, like, don't, like, this ain't nothing. Like,
that's crazy. You gotta learn therapy, like, from jump, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't even think about it like that.
Yeah, like I wasn't. My whole thought is, I want to fucking win.
Yeah.
I know that you can do certain things that help me win. Like, let's get that.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
But like, you know, that's what I love. Like, you know, thing about sports, that it kind of like keeps you, has that like that balance, that, you know, the guidance that we can have, and like, you know, so it's a thing that I feel it's a good distraction for kids that we 100%. Need because it teaches those lessons.
Yeah, exactly. And like, these are lessons that, especially like if you don't have a dad in your life, like, coach is going to teach you, or some other like older kids are going to teach you. So it's also about kind of like, I don't know if community aspect is the right word, but just like interacting with other people and learning different lessons that like if your mom tells you something, you're probably not going to listen at that age, right? But,
yeah, funny enough.
But if you need to do something in order to win, 100%, you're going to listen and you're going to like apply
you
that,
tune in,
right
that's it's funny how that works. Like, you know, it's like you're always like, okay, because my mom used to come to a lot of my practices, you know, when I used to play, like, you know, outside of school and shit.
Yeah.
And I used to hate when she would criticize me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, you don't even play. Like, you don't even know what you're talking. Like, I used to say all that type of stuff. It used to be beef almost. Until the point where it's like, I had to be like, bruh, she's watching the game, you know. Like,
exactly.
Like, she may not play, but she could see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
You turning the ball over a lot.
You're just not trying to hear from her. It's like, yo, you don't play ball. Like,
you know what I'm saying? But like, that's not the mentality, because like you just got to learn how to take that constructive criticism, because like that's the only way you get better.
Right.
Is like you have to see your weaknesses and then like go at them. And I feel like that's a great thing that sports teaches.
Yeah, exactly.
And like kind of leading into that, I want to know like, what are like the passions that you had that like you still have now, and if anything, what are some like qualities that like maybe sport has like even helped those passions?
Working out, like exercising. I told you I was in the gym earlier today.
You know what I'm saying? Getting it in.
There's always three things, I think. It's exercising or sports, music, and I don't even know what the other one was, but photography. Those are the three things that kind of like keep me sane. It's like exercise. If I'm not working out, honestly, I don't feel like myself. And that's a big thing for me. In terms of how like sports kind of helped it, honestly, I don't even know. Like, there's so many things that I don't even think about that I don't even know if I could apply to the same way. I just know that those three things just like, they keep me kind of like uplifted. It's just, I guess in a way it's like the feeling that I got when I won a game or whatever in sports. It's the same way that I feel like when I hit a new lift, like I get a different weight on a new lift. Whenever I take a pick, and like it was just crazy, like I didn't even know I could do this. Or just in general when I'm listening to a track and it's just like I can feel it, it's one of those. So I guess it's kind of how I would say it crosses over.
Yeah, I find like it's the crazy crossover too, because like for me, like obviously I'm not doing the sport like I used to, but then it's like still when I go to the gym and I get the work in, it's like I feel almost like how I did, like if I'm like, all right, I just hit the gym and just I put some work in on the jumper, like that's what I felt like. So like I know what you mean. You just feel good about yourself, and then especially like with the tunes too, because like I feel like, especially with, like I love when you said when you feel a song, because like I feel like sometimes a lot of people listen to shit to listen to it, but like when you really feel things, that's when it connects. And I feel like you only feel things when they're like that real music.
Exactly. It's like all the dance shit is cool, but like something that actually hits your soul when like I don't even know, like Kendrick usually does that for me. Or like J. Cole songs will do that for me. Like there's certain artists like that are speaking on just, I guess, like a different level than just like the surface shit, Yeah,
definitely. Cause like those are obviously some of my top guys for sure. I love listening to those guys. But then it's like at the same time, lately I've been on some straight like West Coast gangster hip hop shit.
It's the vibe,
It's the summertime vibe. It just I don't know, it connects with me, and I'm just like I always tell people. I told my mom this the other day too. I feel like if reincarnation was a real thing in my past life, I might have been an LA gangbanger. The way I just connect with the culture, I've never been to the West Coast in my life. Like, anywhere near that.
You gotta go out there and put it to fruition, bro. You gotta like experience that shit.
I'll be like, I probably feel like I'm in the motherland or something.
Exactly. You're like Kendrick in Ghana. You're like,
I'm home. Oh man. But like just speaking of that, like like I want to kind of like transition that into like now like we speak about like some of the passions you had and like growing up. I want to know like just your views on like how society's nowadays, and like how does that affect you, like
First thing that comes to mind with that is we were just watching The Office and they're talking about having kids,
and
that's the first thing that pops into my mind.
Oh really? Like, let's see. Let me hear about it.
So just the way that it's like I don't remember her name, but what she said on The Office is like I don't want to bring a kid into the world, like just currently how things are. I have a pessimistic view on life sometimes, but it's like society, like the economic crises and stuff like that, the environment where all that shit is going. So,
it's
to me,
fucked up out here.
It's scary. It's scary to have a kid and bring him up, and like I don't know what his or her future is going to be like, right?
Yeah,
so that's the one thing that like constantly is on my mind. Like, I don't know if I'm tripping or not, or like if I'm thinking too much into it, but it's always constantly on my mind.
I mean, it's a give and take for me, because like when I really think about that, like I think about, because this world is always fucked.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, we can think about like, how it is like economically, and like, even like, and some people would say like the violence, it's a cruel world, all that.
Yeah.
In essence, it was a lot better than it was 150 years ago, when probably I could kill somebody, go to the next town, say my name is something else, and I got away with it.
True. Yeah.
Like, you can't do that nowadays. So it's like, as much as we say, like, it's just that, but everything changes. So, now it's more digital. Like, that's what's scary, because, like, now your kids could be going through something you don't even really know. And it's like, no one wants to be a snoopy parent at that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I always think it's that give and take. And I feel like communication is always key.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I'm not a parent myself, but I feel like if people communicate with their children, and then they should be able to, like, obviously sometimes kids don't want to tell their parents everything, but you want to have, at least they have the idea that there's an open door, and just because you tell me something and I get upset doesn't mean that that's the end of the world, or like, I'm gonna be like mad at you forever because you made a mistake, because everybody fucks up.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I really do hear you on that. But me, I've always wanted to be a family man, low key.
I do too. I can't even lie. Like, I could picture myself being a dad, and I know I would love being a dad.
Yeah.
It's just like that. I guess that scale, that balancing scale. Like, all right, which one am I gonna lean more towards? And I don't know yet.
I don't want to force you, fam. But you know what I'm saying? Like, after, like, I would keep it 100 right now, because this is the Wheel1 podcast. We keep it wheel out here. You know what I'm saying? So as I would keep it 100, it'd be like, after I got hurt, I'm not. Oh man, I had this mindset of like, I kind of wish I just let off in like a whole bunch of shots, because I was like, bro,
trying to Nick Cannon it out, bro.
Yeah, that's how I felt, because I was like, nah, bro, like, this is, because everything that happened, and then it's like, I realized life could change so quickly, and like, I don't have no children, and then like even now,
this could be the end of everything. Right?
And like, even now, for someone like me, like, I could stop children, but like, it's just now, it's a whole other process.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, sometimes it's like, one of my homies said one time, and he had kind of this conversation with his mom, and she was just like, "What are you scared of?"
Yeah.
And he was just like, I like took him back, but it's just like, there's things to be scared of, but at the same time, it's like, if you feel like, you're never really ready for anything, if you really think about it.
Yeah, 100%. Until you gotta jump in the deep end.
It's just like, we can always put our toes in the pool to check the temperature, but it ain't nothing until you dive fully and just get it all over with.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a combination of those things.
Yeah. And I think like it always changes, right? And it's like same thing that you were saying about things changing every 100 years, whatever. Like, bro, every 5 years, every 10 years, something could change, right?
Yeah, dead ass.
10 years from now, I could be like, all right, I'm financially stable. There's one thing missing in my life, and that's a youth, So it's, you never know.
You know what I'm saying? You never know. Like, times might be changing. So, speaking of that, though, I kind of want to transition that into, like, one of the big things on the show is always about, the mental health. Right. And we always like to talk about, like, a situation, it could be traumatic or just any really that, like, made you, like, really, like, whoa, like, had to check your own mental health and be like, this is really what's going on with me right now.
Yeah. Honestly, like, it happens, I don't want to say frequently, but maybe, like, once a week, or, like, recently it's been happening a lot where just like I just feel like I have zero energy, like can't do shit, like it's hard to get out of bed and stuff. Like I haven't fully sorted it out, but there's some kind of like depressive thing going on, and it's been like that for years. Like I couldn't even tell you how long it's been going on, but like, and it's hard too because I tried to get help from a doctor. The doctor sent me to like a sleep clinic, and then like I never heard anything back from it. So it's like, like it takes so much effort to do shit, and then when like like when your doctor is like not putting in the effort that you think you need in order to help you get better, you're just like, yo, fuck it, bro. Like, what's the point of this?
And it's kind of crazy because you hear a lot about that in, like, I feel some senses in the medical field where it's like people are expressing how, like, their symptoms or how they feel, and they feel like they're not being taken seriously.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yo, like, it takes so much effort for that person to go and tell someone else, like, yo, I don't feel right. Like, I feel like killing myself, you know? It's like something's off. And then, like, for them to just kind of brush it off, like, a certain point you got to understand, like, they're just kind of doing their job and making sure that everything's, like, what's it called? They don't want to go to, like, the last resort first, you know?
Yeah, of course.
They want to kind of, like, check off their boxes and stuff, but at the same time, like, you're dealing with a person that has all this shit going on, and it doesn't seem like that you're listening to them. It's like they're never going to trust you again.
Exactly. And trust is a big thing, I feel, when it comes down to mental health, because it's like, if you don't trust your doctor who's supposed to be helping you,
right, and
you don't even know where to go to next. Yeah, it's like, you know, do I trust the next person? Because are they gonna be like this? And then it's just, it could be a downward spiral for a lot of people. And like, you know, I feel it's like it's a good issue that you're shedding light on too, because like, you know, I feel like it's not talked about enough.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, the only other thing you can do is just kind of like really check yourself and be like, okay, this is what makes me feel down. This is what makes me feel good. Let me try to do more of the things that make me feel good. If I have a bad day, it's all good, you know? It's like I can push through it. And I think that's the thing that's helped me the most, is knowing that I can push through it, and also knowing like this is kind of part of my personality now, you know? It's like it's normal for me, so I don't have to feel like as bad when it happens. You know? It's just like, okay, I'll get over it, you know, I'll be fine.
I feel like that's a crazy part too, like about when you kind of come full circle and you see something that you're going through and you acknowledge it, and then you like own it. Exactly. It's like a different power that kind of turns up where you're like, yeah, this is me.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I think that's the thing that's helped me the most, is just being like, yo, this is me. You know, it's like it's not normal for other people, but it's normal for me. But like I gotta own it. You know, it's like, okay, I know how to deal with it. I know what I need to do. I know my bad days. I know my good days. It's like just recognizing like part of who you are, you know?
It's crazy that like you're like you talking about like, you know, with that and like, you know, with your mental health and like that, it kind of almost sounds like me daily with my physical.
Yeah.
Because
that's how I think about it too.
That's exactly how it is. It's like, I gotta, you know, this is the new norm.
Right.
Number one, you gotta still live with it. You gotta love it. And, you know, you can have some good days, you have some bad days, you know, and one thing I remember my therapist, she always told me, shout out Martha, you know, I love you. And she was like, it's okay to have a bad day.
Right.
But just don't make that become another bad days.
Yeah, don't let it snowball.
Exactly. Like, you know, you can have your moment, but when that moment's done, it's done.
Yeah.
And we back to killing shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I just love that mentality, and like, I love that, like, we need to acknowledge that sometimes, because there's so many times I feel people just want to be like, raw, I'm tough or heartless or all this fuckery. Like, bro, people don't understand the power in being vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Because once you put that out there, it's like, what can hurt me now?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if you've ever heard of the saying, like, pain shared is pain lessened. You know, so it's like, just putting it out there. It doesn't have to be to someone. It's better if it's with someone that you can talk to. But like sometimes people will say the wrong thing, you know. So even if you just like write it down, get a diary, do something, just something to get it out, you know, to make you feel better.
Exactly, because like, you know, we need that. So many people keep it bottled up, and then, you know, now you angry, and then like, fuck, someone did the slightest thing, it's like, boom.
And that's what we see all the time, you know.
Exactly. People don't like, you know. That's why I love to do things like this, because I feel like this is just like, you know, I consider myself low key the hood therapist. You know, this is.
I was just about to say that too. Change the podcast name.
It's a little something, but you know, it's just like, but like that's why we got the big comfy couch up. You sit on, we have these conversations. But like, I just love that, like, to have that opening where that space where we can like open up and be vulnerable about shit that we're going through, because like, no matter how successful or whatever someone's on in life, everybody's going through something, and I feel like it's way more powerful when you show the struggle than the success.
Yeah.
Because like nowadays, especially nowadays, we live in like such a highlight reel like world that people don't show their struggles.
Yeah, exactly.
They only show their success. I'm balling. Look at all this ice on me.
Yeah.
Like all this type of stuff. Where it's like, instead of like, let me show you what it took to get all this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what people really need to know. Because now every day, and everyone wants this like whole microwave lifestyle where it's like, okay, I get it in like a second, when it's like, that's not how it really works out here.
Yeah.
And it just, I feel like it's just kind of like corrupting the whole mindset of like everybody, you know.
Now too, right? It's like if someone sees that on Insta or whatever, and they try to get that, but then there's like hurdles along the way, they don't know how to deal with it because they were just shown this perfect picture, right? So like it takes a lot in order to like persevere and actually get to that spot.
Yes, that's the key, you know. It's one of my favorite words is perseverance, you know. Low key, like, I was always thinking, like, you know, I got to get a tattoo, you know. No one steal this idea from you guys, you know what I'm saying? But the 4 P's is practice patience, persistence, and perseverance. Because that's all it is, you know. And that's all you push through things, you know. I love that. So, like, I want to know now, like, what were some things that you had to help you kind of like cope through these situations? Like, you know, I know we're talking about music. I know, you know, we didn't even get to talk about your love of photography now, but you know what I'm saying? We got to get into that too, about like how did that and, you know, other things help you cope through any situation that you had, like when you deal with your mental health?
I think it was more of like, I don't want to say a distraction because that's not what it is, but it's just something that makes me feel better. You know, so it's like I haven't had a therapist. I definitely need one. Will I ever?
Honestly, I would recommend it. Yeah. Like, you know, but someone that you fuck with, not just anybody.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, I got lucky enough that the first therapist I had, where she was super cool.
Right.
So like, I like fuck with her as a person. I'm like, you know, not just like as a therapist. Like, you know, I feel like you need that.
Right.
So, you know, but like, you know, continue what you're saying on like what helps you cope through these situations.
It's just like, just feeling good about myself. Like, so for whatever reason, I have a lot of self-esteem issues, but like when I take a picture and it's crazy, like, yo, actually I can do this, you know? Or even when I'm a personal trainer, even when I'm training a client and they're like, whatever, they're getting stronger, they're losing weight, they're out of pain, whatever, like anything that makes me feel good is what helps me cope. You know? So it's not necessarily like, all right, this thing is just kind of distracting me and like tomorrow I'm gonna feel like shit. It's just like, it's kind of a thing where it's like, okay, I'm actually good at something, and that boosts my confidence and my mood. Right?
It's crazy how like being good at something, but like helping others, can like make you feel good in a weird like selfish way.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're like, I like helping people because like I like feeling good. Because like I've had people that, you know, I'm that guy where, you know, you need that, you know, I got you.
There's nothing wrong with being selfish.
But at the same time, yes, I tell people that all the time. It's like, yo, I love me some me, and best believe if I gotta put me before other people's shit, it is what it is, bro. So sorry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you. I still love you same way, like Tupac said.
You think, boy?
You know what I'm saying? Just like that, bro. Yeah. But like, I love that you even put that out there too, because I feel that's the one thing that people don't talk enough about with their own mental health, is because I feel like a lot of people give their all to others and don't even give 20% to themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And like, those are the people that they seem the happiest, but those are the ones that are the saddest inside.
Yeah, they're fronting.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like, you know, they keep all that in there about how they're feeling. They don't voice their opinions about how they're feeling. And then on top of that, it's like, you're doing everything for everybody, and then you wonder why people aren't the friend you are. And that's one thing I had to,
bro, mind blown.
I guess that's one of the things I had to realize, like, you know, as like I got older, was that not everyone's the friend you are, and like that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but you just have to realize that. And once you realize that, you realize I can't give my all to everybody, because not everybody's gonna do the same for me, and selfishly I have to help myself.
Yeah, you gotta keep something for yourself. You know?
Exactly. Like, how can I help you if I ain't got it?
Facts.
You know. So I gotta get it. You know. So like, that's the whole mindset and the whole perspective on that. Like, you know, and that's a big thing that I feel like a lot of people need to like talk more about and just be more open about. Because there ain't nothing wrong about it. Because like, you know, issues with people just because you realize that they're not the same friend you are.
Right.
We can still be cool, but like I just know if my car broke down, I can't really call you.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. So I put you in this friend box.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's all gravy.
Right.
You know, I love that. So, you know, like, but I want to talk another thing about like how you kind of use like the negative situations to like boost you. Like, how do you turn, as Biggie would say, a negative into a positive?
All right. So my in chiropractic school. So the second year is supposed to be the hardest year, and so it was like, for me, it wasn't that bad until this last it's called a module, like the last, I don't even know, 4 months, whatever. But I had so much shit going on. Was like running everywhere and trying to do school and work at the same time. But the thing that I always remember is just like my childhood was so hard that like nothing else can compare. You know, and like, I just every time I'm just like, yo, this is soft. Like, I've been through worse, you know. So I just like keep reminding myself that like this is just kind of temporary, you know. Like I've been through worse, and I can get through this, and that's what I always tell myself.
I think like that's the crazy part, cause like, you know, I'm even reading my book right now. It's called "You Can't Hurt Me," you know, and like in the book he kind of talks about how like everything in life is temporary,
right?
Even the pain, and it's like I even look back on my own struggles of like that's what helps motivate me too. When I look back, I'm like, bruh, I can go through this. Like it's a lot of like there was a lot of times where I'm like, bruh, I thought I didn't even want to be here. So like, you know, I could this ain't nothing.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
the same way, yeah.
And once you kind of like, I love that once you use that as your like your battery. Like I feel like it's like, you know, even like they talk about in the book that I'm reading, it's like a callous mind.
Right.
You know, and you know, you being a PT, you already know. Once you got the callous hands, it ain't nothing to just pick it. All right, let's do this.
Lighten up.
But when it's not, everything's hurting.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like those are like the little things that like once you have that callous mind, and then but you have the right mindset to use it into like, okay, instead of like, why did everything happen to me?
Yeah.
This did happen to me, and this is why everything else ain't nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like,
it's like,
I used to think the same thing when I was a kid too. Just like, why me? And then like you get older, you're like, no, I needed that lesson. You know, it's like there's a reason for everything. You know, it's hard lessons, but you know they build a callus. Right?
No L is an L. It's always a lesson. You know, that's what I got to tell everybody all the time. Like, you know, it's like it just gave you some time to recalibrate, come back better.
Exactly.
So you know, but I do want to talk about a little bit, but like, get into your love of photography. Like, what got you into it, and like, what made you just be like, this is just something that I just love and I just like doing. Like, you know?
Yeah. So I was going to Iceland 2018.
How was that, by the way? You know,
it's cold as fuck, but it was it was beautiful though. It was so nice, but like it was. I think that was my first trip.
Like international trip.
Yeah, without like any of my family or anything. And bro, it was beautiful. It was so nice, but it's kind of like it gave me a greater respect for nature because like, bro, it'd be good one day, and then like 10 minutes later the wind will change, and then it's like snowing everywhere, and then another 10 minutes later it's sunny out. So it's kind of like consistently changing. Bro, we were at a Airbnb. I think we had to stay there for like 2-3 days because the winds were so crazy. Fam, you'd be driving and the wind is pushing you off the road.
Damn.
You know, so yeah, Iceland's beautiful. Recommend it. But in terms of photography, so I guess I was just like on Instagram, just seeing like people's photos of different places, especially Iceland. Like, it's so beautiful there. You can take a photo and not know shit, and like have the most beautiful photo that you've ever seen, which is what happened with me. And so
fell in love accidentally.
Yeah, exactly. So I just started doing it from there, just whenever I went on vacation, and then like Trilla. You know, shouts to Trilla, like he really helped me. Shouts to Trilla. He really helped me to kind of like develop my skills. So you always need a friend to like kind of push you through more.
Facts. You always need that little person that says, "Yo, dog, I see what you're doing here." You know,
exactly.
Like, what do you want?
Yeah. So I needed some models, you know, and he helped me out. A few of my other boys helped me out, and just kind of like build my craft from there. But now we're just like to the point now where, like in the beginning, it took me so long to get the shots that I wanted, and now I just like, okay, boom, I know what to do. Boom, I know what to do here, right? So it's like, it feels good to kind of develop that skill, but again, just keep bringing it back to, like, it just makes me feel good when I take a pic, and it's like, it's the most...
Damn, this pic's hard.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't know that I could do that, so it's kind of what keeps me doing it.
I love that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, we're getting close to wrapping this up, so, like, I want to kind of talk about, like, what are things that you currently got going on for yourself, you know, and, like, what's the future hold for you right now, like, you know?
Right now, it's just everything's everywhere, like, working, I'm in chiropractic school, got 2 more years to go.
I'm saying, homie about to be, you know, low-key doc out there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're the ones that don't get the most respect, but, you know, the back is crucial. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
give my nigga his respect, as LeBron would say.
Yeah,
you know
respect on my name. So that's the only thing that's coming, and then just, like, more traveling, more photography, just kind of getting better at my craft, and that's it. So
you know, if people want to, like, check out your photography, like, you know, where could they find you at, you know?
You already got Trilla's Insta, Trilla with the Vibes, or at Trilla with the Vibes. Ooh. So a lot of my photos that I take with him are on there. But my personal handles at Devante, Devante.
So we drop that right here.
Alright, and yeah, that's where you can find me.
Alright. You know, same fam, I really do appreciate you coming through, doing this, you know, chopping it up with us, because, like, you know, we need to have more of these conversations in general.
And another thing I wanted to say quickly before we wrap it up is just, like, one of the reasons that I came here, besides, like, my love for you, and I know you're a good dude.
Thank you.
Is that, like, yo, we're from the West End. A lot of West End people don't show love to people from the West End, you know?
It's facts.
It's
facts.
Hate. So, you know, it's like, when someone calls on you, you gotta come through and support.
Yeah, know? That's the thing. Like, you know, I love to show love to the peoples that I've met throughout my life, because it's like, I know coming from this side of the city is one of the hardest places in general, because, like, if you just look at the landscape of it, there's not much here.
Yeah.
Other than people and, like, factories, and, like, your mindset is kind of, like, as a kid, can be very narrowed, and then it becomes almost like a, you know, homies in the bucket type of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, where everyone's trying to pull someone down and call back 100%. Up. So for me, it's always like, I've seen that style. Like, you know, I gotta show love to my peoples out here. I see my boy out here shooting his shots. You know, literally with the cab. Like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta let people know, if you need that shot, this is where you can get it from. Like, you know,
that's how you build a network, and that's how we all win together.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? That you know what? That's the perfect way to rap right there. You know what I'm saying? Well, I hope Devante. You know what I'm saying? Just boy Master Twice, Wheel1 podcast, and we logging off. Yeah, that was lit.